Well, welcome to Rise and Shine. If you caught our little bit of our chit-chat before we got started here, we're talking about today Internet. And maybe a lot of people may not know what Internet can do and how you can get involved. Our guest today is Joan Sotkin. Joan, welcome to Rise and Shine.
Welcome.
Hello, good morning.
Get up
Good to
and
be
get,
here.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about Internet. And let's assume, what is Internet? I was going to say, let's assume zero knowledge.
You know, you said something about how how the computers are getting so much more complicated and everything. I'm convinced that people under 30 are born with an extra chip in their DNA, and they just know how to do it. Those of us who are graying a little bit at the temples, we just have a little bit harder time with the whole thing. What the Internet is, it's just a lot of computers all connected together. It started out many years ago as a government thing where they were passing information along. And it's the part that people identify with the Internet is really something called the World Wide Web, which is only 2 years old. That's why suddenly you are hearing so much about the Internet. You see the HTTP // the other night, one of the news anchors was trying to give an address. You don't really have to do that when you know about the net. You would just say, rfl.com is my address. You just know to put all the other things together there. And what it is, it's just a lot of computers connected to each other all over the world. And it's, where is it? My mother says, where is cyberspace? Where is it?
Where is
it's
the World Wide Web?
out there. It's
Mom.
not that there's one location. Now, I have an address on the World Wide Web. I have what's called a website, where I share information that I've written with anybody who wants to come by and visit. Now, you don't have to know where it is physically. Physically, I rent space on what's called a server, and I don't know quite how it works. I just go to this thing called FTP, and I put the files up there, and the next thing I know, they're on the Internet.
So people can talk to you or find out what information you want to share?
They can interact with me. On my website, I cover two areas: personal development, personal growth, and business development. And I have stuff about physical health and emotional comfort. Then I have stuff about starting a business. And I approach everything from a point of view of consciousness. So my theories are a little bit avant-garde, but written very simply. Then I have something called the guest page, and people come and they write down their name and their email address and whether they want my free newsletter, and then they have there's a box where they can write whatever they want to write, and they press a button and this gets sent to me and it comes to my email mailbox, and I check my mail every hour or two, and so I then answer I say, oh, I got your mail, thanks for visiting my site. And I can answer their comments or their questions, so that there really is a lot of interaction that goes on.
Well, is email different from the web, or from your website?
Yes,
or from your...
very different. That was my mother's other question. Where does email go? Email flies through cyberspace at warp speed. And what it is, it's a way of communicating electronically. So I have an email address. It's Joan at, that little at sign thing, RFL, which stands for Resources for Living, which is the name of my site, .com. You've heard that .com. So you write to Joan at RFL.com with the subject, and you write your little message that you want. Then you just say to the program, the computer program, send mail. And it will get to me almost instantaneously, no matter where in the world you've sent it from, and it doesn't cost you anything to send.
Nothing?
Nothing.
Who pays for it?
32 cents?
Not a thing.
It's like, wait a minute, who pays for this?
It's faster?
I used to be in the direct mail business. I used to mail out 50,000 catalogs in town. I can do the same thing now, and I don't have to pay for postage.
But do you have to pay for the phone lines?
Fee for
I pay $30 a month for 250 hours worth of use. Now, that would mean I'd be sitting there 10 hours a day, which even I don't do. I do about 3 to 5.
That's still a lot.
That's a lot.
It's a lot, but I'm a knowledge junkie, and I have found my fix on the Internet. Whatever you want to know about. You can talk to experts on any topic. You can gather information. You can also even do this thing called telnetting, which is what I'm learning about now, where you go to libraries and access their databases. You go right to the library. it's amazing what is available. I do tours for people where I show them what's available on the internet.
On the internet?
On the internet. And so this woman came over one day. She's 65 years old, and she really wanted to know what it was. So after I showed her the senior citizen sites and the women's sites, I said, what do you really want to know about? And I was pretty surprised when she said, I've always wanted to know about astronomy. Okay, and there are these things called search engines, where you go to this page and then you write down the word that you're looking for.
Topic.
So we wrote down astronomy, pressed the button, and hundreds of places came up for us to go with pictures and sounds and whatever you want. She could sit in front of her computer for the rest of her life and not finish learning about everything that was on the internet.
She'll find out where cyberspace
is. Some kind of space. And she was so thrilled that she's in the process of shopping for a computer, and she's going to go do it. Any topic you want to. And kids, the ones with the extra chip in their DNA, they're making their web pages. They're doing the original artwork. If parents want to learn anything about education and new methods of education, the internet has a tremendous presence on K through 12, and their education is a big deal on the internet. And it never ceases to amaze me. Whatever topic comes up, I put it in there and I check it out. I belong to one of my topics is spirituality in the workplace. And I found 100 other people who are interested in this topic, and we have these it's called the mailing list, where you actually have email conversations that go on all day. And I get probably 30 to 40 pieces of mail just from this one group, and how else could I find 100 people with that same topic
that
I could do that quickly, and they're all over the world. They're all over the world. For the little booklet, the Internet 123 that I wrote, I wanted to find out how to create the pictures from the screen of the internet. So I found a news group. That's another way of talking to people through these news groups. And I put the question. It was a computer-oriented news group. So I said, how do I take a screenshot on a PC? Please send me an email answer. So 2 hours later, I checked my email, and there was an answer from a fellow in South Africa who suggested that I use this piece of software that I had already downloaded for free from one of the sites where you can download shareware on whatever you want. It's there.
It's there. Wow.
Well, we're going to take a quick commercial break, but I'll tell you what, you're opening a big door in this email brain.
We'll be right back with Joan.
We'll be right back. Well, welcome back. We were talking a little bit to Joan, and she's just during the commercial break, we had a chance to talk some more about developing a web. Tell us how it works. Is it done by
website?
Is it done by satellite? Is it done by telephone linkage, or what?
Well, first of all, let's talk about what a website is.
All right.
Okay.
I'm ready.
Imagine
it's in your book too, by the way.
Yes.
Because I've been looking at it.
Imagine, if you will, that you're traveling down the information highway, and there are houses and stores along the highway. Some are stores and some are houses where you just go visit people. You don't have to buy anything. Some of them are stores where you can purchase things. Those are the websites where people present their wares, their ideas, whatever they have to share with the world.
You could buy a book, or you could buy what?
You can buy, on my site, you can buy books and tapes. But the way
you don't have to buy something.
No, and the culture of the web is such that you give something free. You don't just come out there and sell something. So that, and the idea is if people, and you have to give people enough so they keep coming back. And the way it works is people, they come to your site and they know in 15 seconds whether they want to stay there or not. So you have to have something that grabs their attention. It's not like people are going to wade through pages and pages of text. So it's got to be presented in graphically.
Do you change your site often so that it looks interesting every time somebody looks at it?
I have certain pages, like I have a page on physical health and emotional comfort and spiritual awakening that stays the same. But then I have a What's New page that you go to, and it takes you to various things that I've added.
Is this also done with graphics?
Yes, graphics and text. You have to learn what's called hypertext markup language, HTML, which looks very complicated but is very simple to learn, although there's an awful lot of bad HTML on the web.
Now, do you do your own programming?
I chose to learn that.
Okay.
After I found the internet.
But there are programmers out there
There
that
are people you can pay $20 an hour, $30 an hour, and you take them your idea, and then they translate it into HTML.
Okay.
Even if you can do page layout on the computer, it's not the same, because where you take a picture and put it here and the words over here on a page layout program, you have to give it a command to do that, and it gets a little quirky sometimes. The other thing I do from my site with the booklet, Internet 123, everything gets out of date very quickly. So I said, well, how can I overcome that? So I have a section on my site called Internet 123 Updates. And anybody who has the booklet can come to my site. I add things like, I have a little bit about news groups in here and how to use them. Well, then on the site I add how to use a news group reader, which is different from getting to news groups right on the net. And then I have a lot of what are called links. Like in the back of the booklet here, there's a lot of sites that I suggest you go to see, and they have these long HTTP addresses. But when you're on the internet, you can see the word, and it's in blue, and it's underlined. And you just click on the hypertext. On the hypertext, and it takes you to that site.
Now, is that how somebody could find you?
Because you link to other sites.
Okay.
So I found a lot of sites that have the same topic area that I do, and I said, how would you like to trade links?
So do you pay them to do this?
No, well, if they want money, I say forget it, because there's enough other ways of doing it. Most of my visitors come when I participate in news groups and mailing lists. You have what's called a signature file. So it says Joan Sotkin with my email address, my HTTP, my URL, and then it says resources for living, information and products to help you live a satisfying, productive life. Books, tapes, free email newsletter. And then they come. They see me post to news groups and mailing lists my ideas, and I try to say something a little wise so that they'll be attracted to it. And come on, you want a little more? Come on to my site. And it's sort of a competition with myself, because my server, I can count how many visitors come to see me. And
so it tells you.
I know exactly how many people are coming from.
Do you know how long they stay?
Well, I know what pages they go to, where they come from. And
can you do this on a daily basis?
Yes, I get the statistics on a daily basis.
How much would you say is a good day? I mean, some days you may have nothing.
For me, well, now, I spoke at Novell, which is the company that does all network stuff, last week, and they get 600,000 hits a day on their site. Wow. 600,000. There are sites that get over 1 million people coming to visit every single day. Now, in order to do that, you have to have a lot of equipment, because you've got to be able to handle that many people electronically. It's called bandwidth. That many people coming in at one time. At this point, I've only been on the net for a short period of time, and I was very happy when I got 200 people coming the first month. And then it started. It just keeps. Yeah, I thought maybe 25 people would come in the
Pretty
first
soon you'll
month.
have a staff, and that's all they do.
Well, that's where it goes if it's done right. But the problem is I have to also find ways of generating income, because selling on the net is not that easy. There aren't that many people.
But all you keep saying is that you have to give a newsletter away for free, you have to do this away for free. So how does somebody make money?
You can sell things.
Okay. Is it looked down upon?
No, not on the World Wide Web. That's why it was put together. A lot of sites sell sponsorship. For example, there's a very popular magazine called Hot Wired that gets there are 1 million hits a day, I'm sure. They sell well over $2 million worth of advertising a year. They're like these little banners that show up on the pages.
And
so
you can
click on the banner
like
and go to the other person's site. It's all done with these links. I'm of the build a field and they will come mindset. I have this incredible urge to share what I have to say about the internet and on the internet. I feel like Johnny Appleseed of the internet. I wrote this booklet. It's the least expensive, least complicated explanation of the internet and how to get on it. I just want to get people on there. How will I make my money? I make my money talking to groups and consulting with with individuals.
Tell you what, this is a real simple little pamphlet to go
For
through.
something that looks quite...
It's the least complete book on the market.
Yeah. Well, welcome back to Rise and Shine. Joan was telling us about Internet 123. So, Joan, what's in this little booklet?
I wanted to make it as simple as possible. The .com stuff sounds complicated. It really isn't. So what I put in there was what the internet is, what you can find there. Then the step 2 is how to get connected. And step 3 is a tour. Press this button, press that button, now do this, now do that. It's as simple as you can imagine. And then once you're on the net, you can find lots of information about how to use the internet. And I give you links to all the sites that have that information.
Whoa. Is it expensive to be on the net?
I pay $150 a month.
Yeah. To run a business, yeah. Is there anything fun on the internet?
There is so much of that. You can read comic books every day. You can go to the movies.
Like my hobbies, woodworking.
I'm sure you'll find. Well,
Old
you can't
cars.
do woodworking on the net, but you can find
But
other
you can
people.
find people that have
Yes,
gone through the same
There are
problems.
15,600 something news groups and you're bound to find a topic that interests you.
Well,
And it's very easy. I want to make it really clear that even though the language may be unfamiliar to your listeners, it's so easy. You've got to try it at least once.
Oh, because it does look a little difficult. You see all of these long letters all strung together and you think...
.com.
But you can't get lost in it, can you?
Absolutely
you can always
impossible.
get back out.
And you can always
move,
come
you
to
can
my
always-
site.
There you go.
mark it as a bookmark so that you can always come back to it.
And
And if
ask
you
for
have
help.
any questions, you always have one place you go where you know you're going to find a friendly feeling there.
There you go.
Well, we want to thank you, Joan, for
Thank
being
you,
on our
Joan.
program.
My pleasure.
And once again, you've given us, at least me,
This is
something I don't
we
work
need.
with every day about the Internet. Internet 123. Thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye-bye.